Hello everyone and welcome to Dungeon Defenders Let's Play. For this playthrough I'm going to be going through Squire, as you can clearly see. So if you probably already know this game, but for you those that don't know, it is a tower defense game where you basically got towers, all sorts of, where you can just throw them down and they just hit the targets, or the enemies in this case. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right on in. I'm more or less going to try going through the core game levels, and maybe the Lost Shards levels, but those ones require a lot of work to get through, so those might take some time for me to actually get to. So for now, let's just jump right on in.
Etheria was once a land of living legends. Long ago, brave warriors across the realm stood together against an immortal evil known as the Old Ones. In the wake of this struggle, the champions locked away the power of the Old Ones inside Eternia crystals. Recently, the realm's heroes, called to a faraway crusade, have left their younger kin to tend the castle and its chores. Bored with their dreary duties, and imagining action and adventure, the pupils accidentally unleash an ancient force that has long been dormant. Now these heroes in training will have to grow up quickly. Together they will defend the Eternia crystals against those who would seek to resurrect the ancient evils.
Alright, so usually what I like to go through is more damage with this, but really it just depends on your playstyle. I haven't played Squire in so long. I main frickin' the apprentice class for the most part. But for the most part, for now, let's just get right on in and get to work. Oh yeah, also, I'm not exactly going to be talking too much because I'm not one for talking very much. So, I mean, I'll try to make comments along the way as we go along, but for the most part, don't expect too terribly much commentary. Oh yeah, also I will be going through the rest of the classes, the 4 core ones. I might check out the Jester and Summoner class at some point later on, but just to more or less give those first looks sort of deal. From what I've heard, Summoner is quite difficult, especially, and the Jester is just royally difficult. But for the most part, I'll check them out, see how they fare. But for now, I'm just gonna stick with the core 4. Heck. Yeah, when you first start this game, it's quite slow because your movement speed is just pathetic, really. But as the game goes on, you gain levels, you grow faster and faster until you're able to clear maps in mere seconds. Well, not that fast, but you get the idea. You move pretty fast. That is a good weapon to get. Also, the reason why I have this here is simply because I'm playing on the Redux version of the game, which basically makes it to where things like the quest for Eternia shards and other stuff are a bit easier. It's more or less just because the snowball tower is nice and it gives the characters all a pretty nice buff, which makes them far more capable of dealing with things on a later wave, on later difficulties, like nightmare difficulty. But it also adds in ascension difficulty, which adds in a whole new boss, which can be faced on every level. Not to mention, enemies are capable of clearing the map in literal seconds. For real this time, I've seen it. It's not fun. But for the most part, yeah. I'm not going to be touching those difficulties for this playthrough, as I'm just going to go through the core levels and maybe the freaking Eternia shard levels, but for now, just going to stick with the core game and just play the game as I normally would, except with all you guys joining me. Ah, goody. For these lower ones, I'm going to replace them with bouncer blockheads because for some reason the Dark Elf archers more or less don't see them in terms of the defense. Really, they just see it as an sort of another enemy of sorts, or as a player. So they just really just go. They don't care. They really don't care about them. So they like to walk into them, which is a good thing, because then the blockades can actually hit them instead of them just sitting back and shooting them with their arrows. So, yeah, in the later levels, in the early levels, you want to basically get as many chests as possible, because you want to build up that starting there, so you actually have something to work with when you level up your equipment. Okay, see, look, that one's not stopping. Basically, he doesn't see the actual target. So instead of them actually going and shooting them like those blockades up there, instead they just walk right into it. That's what's doing it, and then okay, these ones are still doing it, but it's probably because they keep getting locked off. Oh yeah, one thing to note is that as you play the game, the waits get longer and harder. And if you play with more than one, play with, say, 2 other friends, then the enemies you should be, then the enemy count increases accordingly. So instead of only dealing with maybe like 50 enemies on wave 1, you might now be looking at possibly even 75, maybe more. Really depends on the level and where you're going. There we go. Eh. What was the next thing for defense? Ah, harpoon turrets. Okay, so that means... There we go.
Have you considered creating a new name for yourself? It's wise to improve your equipment with the adventure ahead.
So yeah, that was the first level you can do. I'm gonna continue on every so often with this game. Maybe even replay this level, but maybe on a harder difficulty, just to get some levels, because these levels get hard, and usually you really should be about level 40 to 50 for the 12th level of the main game. But after that, you might want to be higher level, like in the 70s region, or the quest for the shards area. But for now, I'm gonna end this video here, and yeah, go check out the other videos on the Jagged Edge Productions channel, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.